You are absolutely correct. The .com domains are owned by an American company, which is called VeriSign. And because it's a U.S. company, the U.S. government thinks that it can just come and seize any domain that ends in .com. And it's not just that. It's not just about seizing domains. They've also sued people. They've accused them of piracy. There's so many legal battles that have been undertaken on this very premise that the United States thinks that it can sue anyone who uses a .com domain or misuses it. According to them, they can just steal the website like they did with Press TV and various other outlets or news outlets that are not even based in the United States, right? So once again, we see the United States trying to extraterritorialize its, it's authoritarianism, its laws. And I wish, it's kind of like a double, it's not even really true because they are trying to extraterritorialize some of their laws, the really bad ones like the Espionage Act against Julian Assange. But then they go and say, well, we're not going to give him any First Amendment rights. We don't recognize that he has any, right? Which is also U.S. law. But apparently they only want to pick and choose, they choose the bad ones, and those are the ones they extraterritorialize. So, they want to drag Julian Assange, who's not a U.S. citizen. He has not published anything in the United States. He doesn't live in the United States. Doesn't work in the United States. They want to bring him to the United States and punish him with United States law. What is that? What is that? Like, imagine if China was trying to drag away, Jake Tapper or someone from CNN, or I don't know, like to put them in a gulag or something, is that acceptable? No. The Americans would never be quiet. They would never shut up, right? And they always scream about, China, human rights abuses. Yeah, but really? But they don't even have any proof of that. A lot of the things they say are completely made up. The CIA even admits to making things up about communist countries because that's what they do. They make propaganda. And second of all, we have proof of your human rights abuses, and they're far more extensive. So who are you to talk about that, right? And now, of course, as we saw with Press TV, they go and they just steal presstv.com, alfurat.com, and these websites are not based in the United States. Most of the journalists working there are not in the United States. Some of them were not even English language, right? So, not that it makes it okay to do it to an English outlet, not at all. But my point is that it just shows you how vicious they are, right? So you had Palestine Today, you had Al Furat, you had Press TV, you also had, I think, Al Masira. So I'm forgetting it's 33 outlets, right? I don't remember all of them. But even if it were just one, this is utterly, utterly unacceptable. I mean, just imagine if Iran went and completely took CNN.com offline forever. There would be outrage. There would be outrage. And we actually saw this a few months ago. Do you remember when the British, their telecoms regulator in the UK, it's called Ofcom. And Ofcom, which it's basically the British equivalent of the FCC. Ofcom went and revoked CGTN's license. CGTN is a Chinese English language outlet, right? So they went and revoked their license. So, they take you off the air. You can't broadcast on satellite anymore. That's it. They revoke your license. And in response, China banned the BBC, right? The British Broadcasting Corporation, which is, it's funded by the taxpayer and it's state-run. And they claim to be independent, but I mean, you've got to be pretty naive to believe that. So once the Chinese did that in response, okay, everyone went mad. The British went mad. You had all these Western outlets going, oh my God, look at China. They're so authoritarian. They banned the BBC. Yeah, but you didn't mind the British banning CGTN. What is that? What kind of glaring hypocrisy is that? These events are 2 weeks apart, by the way. Literally like a week, 2 weeks apart. Unreal hypocrisy, right? And they did the same thing with Press TV. They banned Press TV in the UK like a few years ago. I think a decade ago, maybe. I'm not sure. So Ofcom, the same British telecoms regulator, they just came and took Press TV off the air. And it didn't stop there. What did they do? Facebook would go and regularly take down Press TV's Facebook page, right? For no reason. This is what's so crazy. It's like they don't even tell you what you did wrong. It's just like, yeah, we're taking your page down. And I think the Press TV page is like 4 million followers, something like that. So it's a very big page. And then Google went and banned Press TV from all Google services, from YouTube, Drive, like you name it. It's just like, you can't use this anymore. And I think in Google's case, they cited sanctions, right? But with Facebook, it's harassment. Like they would take down the page for 3 days, they put it back up. Then, 6 months later, they just randomly take it down again. Like it's just playing cat and mouse for no reason, right? And this is why they're such hypocrites. They talk about press freedoms, but they don't mind harassing, censoring, completely shutting down foreign outlets. And the thing that just happened now with the Biden administration, the Biden regime, right, taking all these outlets offline is astonishing. I mean, it would be bad enough if Press TV was censored in the United States, but here they took it offline everywhere. So like if you're in Angola, if you're in China, if you're in Venezuela, you can't open presstv.com anymore. It's gone. And there are several other outlets too, right? And what do these outlets all have in common? They're anti-imperialist. They're part of the resistance. Right? They belong to either Iran or its allies. They're anti-imperialist, anti-Zionist, and that's why they were taken down. And I mean, it's very clearly political, but they said that, Iranians don't have the right to use .com domains because they're under sanctions, right? Okay, well, why did they just take down these websites? They didn't go and take down other websites in Iran that were using .com domains. No, they claimed that Press TV is being run by the Quds Force. Remember Soleimani that Trump assassinated? He was the head of the Quds Force. It's an elite unit. It's one of the 5 branches of the IRGC. The IRGC is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, right? So they were seriously listen. Like you need to understand what's going on. I'm not making this up. It's literally on the DOJ website. They were saying that Press TV and these other outlets are being run by one of Iran's special forces. And because those special forces are under sanctions, they don't have the right to use a .com domain without permission, so we have to take them online. What the fuck? What is that? That's like saying, I know people are going to laugh now because it's actually true, but it's like saying, this CNN is being run by Delta Force or the CIA, and so they have to be taken down, And again, there's some truth to that, of course, but in this case, it's not. They're not saying intelligence service. They're saying an elite fighting force, the Quds Force. So I don't think you can really compare the Navy SEALs or Delta Force or the SAS to that, but it's just so you get an idea, a sort of a general idea of what we're talking about here. And that's what they're saying, which is completely, utterly absurd, And this is what they do. They harass foreign outlets. And the .com domain, it's unsafe. So Press TV, they've always had a backup domain. I think it's .ir. They also have another one, I think. I'm not sure, but the current one now is presstv.ir. The presstv.com is gone. And as you correctly point out, and as I mentioned before, the .com domain, it's not safe because they can come and seize it at any time. And you need to understand something, though. There's a nuance there because this is what they can supposedly do legally, right? They cite the law. They cite sanctions, which are executive order. And they've taken out websites that are not .com before, like WikiLeaks. That's .org, right? If I'm not mistaken. There are other websites, news websites, activist websites that are not ending in .com. They end in something else, and the United States has still targeted them. They've thrown them offline. They do interference. They run interference on them, so the signal, or they do these DDoS attacks, distributed denial of service attacks. So they either take the website completely offline, or they slow it down to the point that it can't even run. So they target websites that are outside the United States. They're not based in the United States, and they don't end in a United States domain like .com. So this is bullshit. Okay. Oh, they didn't get a license exemption. Like, and do you see again how Biden is just like Trump? Because he literally cited Trump sanctions to do that. So not only is Biden not removing all of these sanctions on Syria, Venezuela, Iran, he's using these sanctions from Trump to go and harass foreign media. And then people talk about voting out fascism. What the fuck? This is worse. Like Trump put the sanctions in place against the IRGC. Biden is acting on them, right? Although, again, these are not the worst of the sanctions. The worst ones are the ones that starve people, right? It's not, but still, they go hand in hand because they're keeping all of them in place. He's still starving people, and he's attacking the press. It's the same thing. And under Trump, they were, they banned Press TV from Google. So that was also, those sanctions were also being used under Trump, right? This is just incredible. It's really incredible. Like the level of deceit, of attacks, of aggression that they have against foreign countries, and how they turn around like, oh, we're a democracy, blah, 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 fucking blah. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.